Welcome to the Harness How-To Guide for Audit Trails. Audit Trails enable compliance and operational integrity, and recently we introduced this to the product. You can access it by going to Continuous Security and the Audit Trail, and you'll see a list of all of the events in chronological order relating to your pipelines. You can see we've updated some variables, we've deleted some services. What I'm going to do now is going to make several changes to my application. So I'm going to go to my application, I'm going to create a new service. So let's create my Kubernetes service. We'll select V2. Once we've created a new service, I'm going to create a new environment. So there's multiple changes for the audit trail to log. So now I'm going to create a my Kubernetes production environment. Then we're going to create a Canary workflow. So I'm going to go to workflows. And now we're going to create a new workflow. So let's call it my Kubernetes Canary workflow. I select Canary as the workflow type. I'll select my environment, production. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two phases to the Canary deployment. So phase one is going to be 20% of the cluster. So I'm going to take my service, I'm going to deploy it to my Kubernetes cluster. I'm going to upgrade the containers and pick 20%. And then I'm going to copy phase one to phase two. And then I'm going to upgrade 50% of the cluster in phase two should the Canary phase one succeed. Lastly, I'm going to create a pipeline called my Kubernetes pipeline. And that should be several changes we've made to our application. So now if we go and take a look at the audit log in Continuous Security and Audit Trail, we can see all the changes. So we can see we've updated the workflows, we've created the pipeline. There's all of the updates to the Canary deployment workflow. We've got the create environment, and then we've got the actual creating of the new service itself. So why don't we go back and let's edit phase two of the Canary deployment. So I'm going to go back and let's say instead of 50%, I'm going to change it to 63% of the cluster. Now, if I go back to the audit trail, we can actually do a diff on the changes. So if you look at the right-hand side of each event, you can see there's a YAML difference. And so we can click that and we can shortcut straight to the differences in configuration. And this can be done for Kubernetes manifests, it can be done for variables, any configuration or part of your pipeline component, you can have diffs. And that's how simple it is now with the Harness Audit Trail.